Resident Evil 2, the rating video. Alright, let's get to it. Not much for me to say. Surprisingly better than I thought it was. I'll say that. Because, yeah. Plus 17 to the story, and plus 2 to the gameplay. I am not a big fan of survival horror, as this will show. And, yeah, I used both the infinite ammo and PSN rewinds. So, there you go. So, let's get into it. This won't not take me very long, and there will probably be very few clips in this one, so, as to give you a heads up on that one. I like the brickwork, I like the doodad usage, and I enjoy the dark tone and horrific atmosphere throughout the entire runtime. So, good stuff there, as well as the good sound design. The voice acting is simultaneously good and bad. And there are times where it's like, kind of actually pretty decent, and then other times where it's just like, ugh. And it's actually exemplified like perfectly between both Leon and Claire. Here, Claire is well voice acted in my opinion. Leon, not so much. Hence why they, changed his voice out as for RE4, the original RE4. Or the background detail with all of the notes and diaries and stuff that you find all over the place. That's good stuff. That gives you great insight into how several people react to the goings on and just how fucking evil Umbrella is. I like the external continuity being on point because all of this is effectively a consequence of nobody believing RE1's pro tags that Umbrella are a bunch of ass hats. So, there you go. I also find the internal continuity to be very good. Admittedly, more so in Claire A, Leon B, but no, still decently good. I like the visual continuity if you don't swap out the costumes. Claire giving Sherry her jacket, and Leon being injured. Good stuff. The teases of what Birkin is capable of when he's in his G-Virus form, is good foreshadowing if you ask me. Gameplay story integration in the form of the limited resources. I think there's good world building in terms of how much of a threat Umbrella is. And that's it. 12 presentation positives. I enjoy Claire. The characters are very simple to explain because there's only 4 of them that I enjoyed in the entire game, really. Claire, Leon, Chief Irons, and Sherry. Chief Irons is actually kind of interesting as a villain, even here. Oh man, is he even worse than the fucking remake. But I don't want to get into that. But yeah, I honestly love the 3 main characters. So, cool. I'm actually kind of happy that Sherry becomes a playable character in one of the later games. It's kind of cool. The intro, which I chop at when you arrive at the police station, I think it's good at establishing the tone without even really doing full-on cutscenes, And then the story just kind of is there while you're exploring the thing until you get to the part where Chief Irons bites the dust. Specifically, this is more so in Leon A, because I actually prefer his death there. Here. I also kind of like that the voice actor, Gary Crawford, sells the hell out of that scene. I can't give him a performance overall, but his performance overall a positive, but yeah, it looked like I could in the Sky, like I have been giving in the Sky One remake. But yeah, no. Oh, he definitely deserves some props for that scene. Then there's the flashbacks with the agents, which is chilling and shows off just how dangerous the G virus really is. I like Annette's. I like that when Annette bites the dust because, yeah, you can kind of see. You can kind of see what that she regrets all the shit she's done. She's still a shit character, in my opinion, though. Claire A's ending I thought was pretty good. I also gave Claire A's outro a positive. This was something I had to debate in order to really, in order to to kind of determine it, because I figured, you know what, each like pathway ends with an actual like set of credits. So I'm like, all right, so every time the credits roll, that's going to be like an outro, right? And I don't mean like bad endings where it's like you rewind and then you keep going, right? No, these are full on other playthroughs. So there you go. So then we switch over to the Leon B, which had substantially fewer story positives. Annette's confrontation with Ada, and Leon's game over line. Hey, I thought was actually good. And then the way Chief Irons is taken out in Claire B may be off screen, but is deliciously brutal. Fucker deserved it and worse. So, yeah. Even though it was like literally just he just got a beat down. Or a slash down, I guess? Whatever. Anyways, Claire B's ending works a lot better than Leon B's ending. I didn't like Leon B's ending. I thought it was really stupid. But I feel like it leads more naturally into Code Veronica than Leon B leads into, well, any future REs, honestly. Also, Claire B's outro does more to flesh out Annette and gives a wholesome end to the story. 27 story positives. But of course, there's 10 story negatives to get through, so let's go. Voice acting, like I said, as good as it is bad. The dialogue in this game just doesn't work for me. Yes, a lot of the lines feel cheesy and are only salvaged by some of the more serious lines being decently voiced. At least, that's it. Just the two presentation negatives. Only one character negative, and that's for Annette. Annette annoys me because she feels like she is nothing more than a bitch. I feel like this is down to the voice acting and direction, as her tone and attitude kind of feel wrong. And don't even get me started on her suddenly helping us later. This is a point that I'm sure will be debated multiple times. It will be debated if any Resident Evil fans find this video. Sherry being infected with the G-Virus embryo. I think it's a step too far, if you ask me. If they were setting her up to be like she is in RE6, okay, sure. I could actually buy that. But I don't buy that because I don't buy that A, they planned RE6 at all, and B, that they were thinking of that this far back. Especially considering, like, I'm pretty sure the original Resident Evil creator bowed out after Resident Evil 4 because, well, there's no nice way to say this, because he didn't understand business practices. Oh, if you put RE4 onto the PS2, I'm leaving the company. So you don't want fuck tons of people to play your game. Like, nobody was buying this GameCube and everybody was buying the PS2. Buddy, come on. You can, even back when the original RE4 came out, that was true. I'm sorry. Not everybody had all three consoles. Hell, I didn't even have all three consoles, never mind. I mean, granted, actually, I didn't have the console at all. No, and there's Leon B's ending. Hey, you can actually heard a bit of the crap voice acting. Not much, but there you go. Anyways, so moving on. Annette revealing that Ada is a spy should be a big impactful scene, and instead it's just Annette expositing the whole time. So, yeah, no. Okay, well, it is better in Leon A Claire B. I still don't buy the romance between Ada and Leon. Thank you, remake, for fixing this. Because they really did fix this in the remake to make it more understandable. Hell, they even made it more understandable that Leon catches on, you know? So, cool. Cool. But here in the original, there's no build-up, the voice acting ruins it, and it feels rushed as hell. So, sorry, no, don't buy it. I shipped Leon, there's a reason why, even back in the day, I shipped Leon with Claire, not with Ada. In fact, if anything, I would actually argue him chasing Ada has been constantly kind of holding his character back from true greatness for fucking decades at this point. We'll see if he shows up in RE9, the new one, Requiem, but Then there's Ada's death in Leon B, which would be dramatic and awesome if I bought her and Leon as a couple, which I do not. Whoops. There we go. And then there's Leon B's ending, which just sucks. It's badly directed. Mr. X not being dead till during it is just annoying, which is funny because I'm pretty sure in Claire B I'm feeling the same way with that. And Leon's final line, which you heard there, feels wrong to me, admittedly. And then there's Leon B's outro, which I feel is not very good. It was paced well, and the Ada if it was paced well and the Ada romance done well, I'd probably be singing a different tune, but here we are. And then Annette confronting Leon and Leon A. He sucks even more than in Leon B, as random debris knocking her out so Leon can take the G virus is just, what? Really? Ugh. So, 10 story negatives, that's it. I could have been a lot harsher on this story, but honestly, I think these 10 negatives are just warranted. Let's move on to the gameplay, which fared even worse with only a +2. Let's get into it. The music. You've been hearing it. Yeah. Arrange mode. Mode is awesome as it starts you with infinite ammo versions of the machine gun. And also, I should note, it also starts you with, in the box, you actually get an infinite rocket launcher and an infinite... I think there's another infinite. I know it's the rocket launcher and the submachine gun, but I don't remember if there's a third weapon. I will probably record some footage after this and put up an image of, you know, put some footage up to, you know, show that off. In fact, I am going to make a timestamp. To do that. So, yeah. What am I doing? Not yet, not yet. Alright. Visual distinction and itemization are on point. Gameplay story integration, sound design. The keys being discarded via the prompt is actually nice, as it means the keys are not clogging up your inventory. I like the gun variety. I enjoy the use of the the grenade launcher, as it offers different attack types which change how the shots behave as well. So, cool. I gave the police station itself a positive. I like how it's designed. I like that zombies still get hit while they're off screen. This might seem like a duh to you, but this era was not known for that level of forethought, believe it or not. There are subtle differences between Leon A and Claire A, and I think it works great at adding flavor depending on the character being played. Viscerality is on point. Like when you're actually getting rid of zombies, and especially when you're upgrading Leon's weapons, oh, that is great stuff. There's good enemy variety because you have your zombies, you have your lickers, you have your you have the different forms of Birkin, you have the dogs, you have the birds. There's some good stuff. And replacement is as good as it is kind of god awful. Yeah, I say that a lot in these I will be saying that a lot in these kinds of games. Difficulty curve is smooth with a steady increase, so I enjoyed that. At 16 presentation positives for gameplay. I like the lead up to the police station in gameplay. I figured that was a good intro. I like the giant alligator boss fight. I think it's interesting, and I love that it has an I win button in your favor, because a lot of bosses have a I win button in their favor, and it's always garbage when they do. I like the first fight against Birkin in Scenario A. I feel it's fun and not all that cheap. And then the second and final fight against Birkin is honestly pretty good. I don't count the shooing him away one on like the bridge. I count that as on the elevator. The one where you fight it, you get onto that tram and it's descending, and then you have to go out and fight Birkin. That's what I'm counting there. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and make a timestamp to show the Birkin boss fight. Right, so we will go with 1830 first Birkin fight. So there you go. All right. The second and final fight is honestly pretty good. Good in my opinion as well. I also like the extra modes, as I feel they add additional bits of gameplay. I showed off Extreme Battle for the most part. I did not show off Fourth Survivor because that requires 6 playthroughs. I don't remember if I gave that a negative, but I'm just letting you know. This does not include Fourth Survivor because it takes way too fucking long to unlock, and I've got other things to do rather than to play RE6 6 times. Now, I know some people could say, oh, but Blue Wolf, you technically only had to go through one more, A and B scenario. Yeah. Even that's just asking a bit much, in my opinion. Although I will say I feel there's enough stuff here to incentivize another you to replay the game. Not enough for me to want to replay it, but I could see somebody being incentivized to replay it. 22 gameplay positives. On to the gameplay negatives now. Now, there's 20 of them. Let's get to it. The low health limping. Ugh, I kind of don't like how it hinders your movement, and I honestly feel it's more likely that you will take if you take damage to that point, you might as well just reset because you're fucked at that point. The bugs in the sewers. Oh God, just ugh. Trying to get past there can be a fucking pain in the ass, and it just absolutely sucks. So I'm gonna make a timestamp to show off what I mean with that. Oof. The plant monsters, I feel they have too much health and can damage you even when you take them out, which is annoying. Enemy placement can get a little obnoxious towards the end. Ditto for the lack of save points, especially on Scenario B. Jesus. The flow of exploration can leave you bored a little too often for my taste, as there's just not enough really good lucrative rewards to explore everywhere. Here, you know? The areas you have to go to are better than just going off the beaten path, you know? All I'll say is follow the speedrun strats. Even if you're not doing it as a speedrun. I find the backtracking to be obnoxious, especially if you don't know what you're doing, although sometimes in cases where you do know what you're doing, it can be a little irritating. I felt the limited inventory is a hindrance. I know that's kind of the point of, of these games, limited resources. But the thing is you can design your limited resources and not limit the freaking inventory space, or at least, let me upgrade my inventory space as you go. Thank you, RE4, for that. That actually makes RE4 awesome, I mean, hell, even making it so that a New Game Plus run of RE4 is basically an action game when you have your weapons upgraded is just, oh, hey, that's cool, The map is decent, but man, is it cumbersome to go into, because what you have to do, I guess I'll show this off. And I'll try to show this off. I'll see if I have a, and I'll see if I have a thingy. Is it? Yes, it's 23. Because the map is just cumbersome. Because what you have to do, I might even just record what you have to do for this. Yes. Because what you have to do is you have to go into your inventory, then move the cursor up to the top of the screen, select map, and then there you go, you have your map. Yep. Not a fan of that. Speaking of that, I'm also not a fan of the interface. I feel it feels like there are just too many clicks to do anything. Now on a PC port, I don't know if this is true on the original PC ports, but if you could just like move your mouse and click on map, that would be fine. Although I do, if I'm not mistaken, the console versions came first, therefore no excuse. So yeah, 10 presentation negatives. Presentation and mechanic negatives. Well, other than the audio spam in the lab, although it's more a level negative rather than a thing. Escorting Sherry through the sewers. I feel like that just sucks ass and I hate it. Mostly because if you go just a little too fast, Sherry just stops. Following Claire, and then you have to go back to her before moving on. I think this is actually better in Claire B, but even so. Audio spam in the lab. All employees evacuate to the emergency platform. All employees escape to the emergency platform. Escape to the emergency platform. Escape to the emergency platform. Escape, 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 escape. Shut up! Claire's A's outro is plagued by a bad final dungeon and audio spam. I didn't really, or did I? Okay, I gave the B shit for this too, but in the A scenario, the final dungeon, the lab kind of sucks in my opinion. And then in the B scenario, the second last Mr. X fight scenario just sucks ass. It says you need to use these plugs, which clogs up your inventory. Then you have to survive him until Ada gives you the rocket launcher, and then you got to get back to the train and open the gate, and then activate the train, all in 5 minutes. Yeah, as I was typing this up, this went from a double negative to a triple because I was just like, no, this is stupid. Stupid. God. And then Leon B's outro, I feel, is just sucky because of the backtracking, because all it is just some backtracking, a few Mr. X fights, that are either like every other encounter or worse, and that whole 5 minutes to detonation stretch can just go to hell, as I discussed in the previous triple negative. Claire B's outro suffers from the same problems as Leon B's outro does, and honestly, Claire B just doesn't work for me as a whole. Claire's weapon loadout lends itself way more to Scenario A than for Scenario B. And yeah, that's the way I felt about it. So yeah, +2 overall to gameplay. And that's the original Resident Evil 2. I don't mind the original Resident Evil 2. It was certainly a lot more positive than I was initially expecting it to be. I'll be honest with you. But the funny thing is, is that Resident Evil 2, was the one that actually got me a little interested in the franchise, mostly because Leon and Claire. More so Claire than Leon, admittedly, but I mean, teenage boy, what do you expect? But yeah, I kind of fell out of love with the Resident Evil franchise at around 7. I kind of tried to play 7 and I was like, this is just not clicking for me, Which is funny because I'm actually somebody who will defend RE5 as a fun game. Can I defend it as a good horror game? Not really. Really. Same with RE6, but, granted, I can only defend RE6 to a point. And one of these days we will go through I guess you could call it Resident Evil's Identity Crisis trilogy at some point. And then, and I'll get, one of the boys to join me for RE5, even 6. Because that game, those games really do work better with co-op. Like, you're either playing co-op or you're not enjoying those games as much. Even though I will be showing off in RE5 how much the internet collectively just collectively fucking exaggerated Sheva's uselessness. Like, no, seriously, Sheva's uselessness, even back in the day, was not that fucking obnoxious. And that's what just aggravated the piss out of me, But yeah, that's it. That's RE2, ladies and gentlemen. Shorter one this time, thank God. This will be a lot easier to edit because I don't have nearly as much stuff to show off. Like, literally I only took 4 timestamps. And it's the arrange mode weapons at 14:30. The first Birkin, all of them were gameplay too. First Birkin bus, range mode weapons, the first Birkin fight, the bugs, and then showing off the map. So, there you go. Alright. But that is it for me. Hey, next up on the chopping block. Well, I kind of did one last detour because uh, because as a certain something wasn't out yet. It was still way too far away from coming out yet. So you're getting 3 more VODs and 1 more rating video before we get to the audit of Sky 1 on YouTube. And that is Disney's Aladdin, a game from my childhood. Is the Genesis version really that good? And how much will fans of the Genesis version want to strangle me for their saying no to that question? We'll find out next time. Amen. Until then, this is Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. See you later.